Welcome back to another On Base baseball video. In this video, we're going to do something a little bit different. I created this application last week. It's sort of taken some very old dice baseball games from the early to mid 20th century, sort of the beginning of the hobby, and I translated them into a little application, a little game that you can play online, and I'll post that link in the description. I also did a brief video about one game last week, and the application is, this is on a mobile phone, so it plays pretty well on a mobile phone actually. But it's got several different types of games, most of them sort of homebrew games. This Pocket Baseball was actually a commercial game, but the rest, I believe, are just sort of homebrew versions of games that kids used to play and now they're old men, and so they're sort of reminiscing about the games that they played when they were young, and they actually laid out the game engines, the roles and everything that they used for the game. So it was a pretty cool site that I found, and this was actually what I found at the beginning of my search, that sort of snowballed and led into On Base Baseball. I'm going to be playing Pocket Baseball, which, along with Aruba Baseball, has been, they were sort of foundational to the game engine that I wound up making. So I kind of used them as or leveraged them for a starting point for On Base Baseball, which obviously On Base has gone beyond that, um, beyond sort of the simple um, plays. But you can see here how you can get, pretty close to a lot of even modern games, uh, and how these modern games are sort of based on this older dice baseball tradition or game. So we're going to play Pocket Baseball. This is the 1955 World Series, Game 7 between Brooklyn and New York. Um, Brooklyn would win this game and take their first championship. Uh, Jackie Robinson is not in the lineup. It's going to be um, Don Hoke instead of Jackie Robinson in the lineup. I'm not exactly sure why. I wasn't alive then, so I don't know. Just going by the sort of as played stats. Hopefully, you can see everything okay. For Brooklyn, it's Gilliam in left, Pee Wee Reese at short, Duke Snyder in center, Campanella catching, Farillo or Farillo, I don't know how you say it, it's in right, Gil Hodges at first, Hoke at third, Zimmer at second, and Johnny Padres is the pitcher. For the Yankees, it's Rizzuto at short, Billy Martin at second, McDougald at third, Yogi Berra catching, Bauer in right, Skowron at first, um, Bob Serve in center, Elston Howard in left, and I believe it's Tommy Byrne pitching. So that's sort of where we are. I don't know that I'll do any pitching changes or anything like that. I just wanted to get the pitchers in there. And one thing to remember about these games is that um, everyone has the same chance, basically, right? So all of these hitters are essentially the same in the eyes of the game engine, and that's sort of where modern games take off. Is um, they make differentiation between all of the players. Obviously, Duke Snyder is a better hitter than Johnny Padres and Don Zimmer, right? So you have to make some sort of distinctions between those players, and if you want to create a simulation. Now, if you're just out to have some fun or teach a kid a game, these are great. It's loosey goosey. It's high on the fun factor, and that's just sort of kind of a cool introduction. It's how a lot of people got into tabletop sports anyway. So let's go ahead and play this game out and see how it goes. We're using Pocket Baseball. It's also called the Great American Game, maybe the Great American Game Pocket Baseball. I think that's right, but it is again one of the foundational games for um, for on base. Hopefully you can see what all the different rolls are here. Basically, just you're rolling 2d6, and it's going to show up down here. We're going to keep track. I think we'll keep track of most of the scoring and things here on the score sheet, but definitely going to be using the game engine and the roller. But just as easily, you can keep up with the game here by doing that. You go to different innings and you can keep score. So you can use the application just to play the game itself. But we'll just use this center part for reference and the dice roller. I thought about playing with actual dice, but decided to just use the roller here. Okay, so first up for Brooklyn, it's Gilliam, Reese, and Snyder in the first inning. It's a 4-6. 4-6 is going to be a strikeout. And so we have one down. Guess I'll just do my normal scoring. A 5-5, that's going to be a double play or a strikeout. So strikeout number 2. And Duke Snyder to the plate. 2-6. 2-6 is going to be an out. Sort of unspecified out. There are some flyouts and things like that, but I essentially think of out with the runner's advance as just a ground out to first. So you could even put a ground out. Okay, so we go to the bottom of the first. No score. Phil Rizzuto to the plate, a 1-3. That's going to be a ground out as well. And another 1-3. So back-to-back ground outs for the Yankees, and McDougal to the plate. A 2-2 is going to be a double. So he wraps one off the wall and brings up Yogi Berra. 5-6 to Berra. That's going to be a foul out. And the Yankees are finished in the bottom of the first inning. So no runs on 1 hit. This is no runs on no hits. And we go to the second inning. It's going to be Campanella, Ferrillo, and Hodges. 1-4. That's going to be a ground out. And Ferrillo up a 3-5. So he flies out. And a 1-2. That's going to be another ground out. So 1-2-3. Go the Dodgers in the top of the second inning. Bottom of the second, the Yankees are going to put Bauer, Skowron, and Bob Cerv to the plate. 2-4, that's going to be a base knock. As Bauer gets on with a single. A 2-3, back-to-back singles for the Yankees. So they have runners at first and second now with nobody out. A 1-5, that's going to be a bunt single for Bob Cerv. Surprises everybody. And that's going to load the bases. With nobody out, a 4-5 is going to be a walk. And so that's going to be an RBI for Elston Howard as he walks a run in. And bases still loaded with nobody out and the pitcher to the plate. A 1-2, that's going to be an out. We'll say it's going to be a ground out to the plate. So we'll say fielder's choice here. And bases are still loaded, but now there's one out. And it's going to be back to the top of the order, Phil Rizzuto. There's a fly out. No advancement. And a 1-2 is going to be another ground out. So Brooklyn gets out of that one, having given up only the 1 run. So give up 1 run and 3 hits. So let's go ahead and do our scores here. It's 0. So they get 1 in the bottom of the second. Okay, so we get top of the third. It's going to be Hoke, Zimmer, and the pitcher Johnny Padres. So there's a strikeout, Don Hoke. And Don Zimmer, 5-6. That's going to be a foul out. So out number 2. And a 2-3. That'll be a base knock from the pitcher spot. And brings up Gilliam at the top of the order, a 3-5. That's going to be a fly out. That's here. And that's the third out of the inning. So no runs on one hit for the Dodgers. And the Dodgers still trail the Yankees 1-0 as we go to the New York half of the third. It's going to be McDougald, Berra, and Bauer. So McDougald with a single. That's his second hit of the day. He's got a single and a double. There's a 3-6. The 3-6 is going to be a flyout for out number 1. A 1-5 is a bunt single for Bauer. Also surprising everyone. So here's runners at first and second. And that's going to be a strikeout of Bill Skowron. So out number 2, runners at first and second base. And the third out of the inning is a ground out from Bob Cerv. So the Yankees get a couple on, but can't get them around, and so they go down in the bottom of the third inning. So we go to the top of the fourth, and it's going to be Pee Wee Reese, Snyder, and Roy Campanella against the Yankees. So that's going to be a ground out for out number 1. A 1-6, another ground out. So 2 down, and Roy Campanella to the plate. 2-3, Campanella gets a single. It's a solid knock. He's 1 for 2 on the day. And a 1-3 is going to be a ground out to end the inning. So Brooklyn gets 1 on, but can't get a run across. And so we go to the bottom of the fourth inning, still 1-0 New York over Brooklyn in this 55 World Series. Game number 7, deciding game. Howard, Byrne, and Rizzuto are up for the Yankees. This could be a fly out to Elston Howard. And Byrne with a strikeout. Brings up Phil Rizzuto. 2-2 to Rizzuto is a double. So Rizzuto down the line sharply. He's in with the stand-up double. He's 1 for 3. And Billy Martin strikes out to end the inning. So no runs on 1 hit for the Yankees. Still 1-0 New York over Brooklyn. And it's going to be Hodges, Hoke, and Zimmer up in the 5th inning. A 3-6 is going to be a flyout. And 2 flyouts in a row. And Don Zimmer to the plate. 3 in a row. Rolled the same exact thing. So 1, 2, 3. Go the Dodgers in the top of the 5th. Go to the bottom of the 5th. Yankees still up 1-0. Here's a 3-5. That's going to be a fly out to McDougald. Brings up Yogi Berra. Berra with a triple. So deep right field, and the right fielder misplays it. Takes a bad angle, and Berra winds up with a sliding in triple. And so we have 1 runner on third base with 1 out. There's a 1-2. That's going to be a ground out. And we'll say that's going to go ahead and score Yogi. Don't know where that ground out went, but we'll call it that direction. There's a 2-2. This is a double. And that was a double for Bill Skowron. And a 1-3, that's going to be the final out of the inning, as the Yankees get 1 run on 2 hits and take a 2-0 lead now over the Brooklyn Dodgers. Dodgers just haven't been able to get anything going here. Johnny Padres is up, and this is a 3-5. This is going to be a fly out for out number 1. And a 3-3. There's a triple from Gilliam. So maybe this will jumpstart the Brooklyn offense, as they have a runner at third base with 1 out. There's a 2-3. There's a base knock. That's for Pee Wee Reese. So Reese with the RBI single, and that gets the Dodgers on the board, and they are within 1, so 2-1 now, the Yankees over the Dodgers. A 1-6 is an out, a ground out, but the base runners are going to advance, so we're going to say ground out here, but the runner's going to move up to second base. So we have 2 outs. Runner at second base is Pee Wee Reese, and Roy Campanella is up to the plate. A 3-4 3-4 is going to be a fly out. So that's out number 3. And they get 1 run on 2 hits for the Dodgers. And they come within 1. So 2-1 now, New York over Brooklyn. A 1-3, that's going to be a ground out to Elston Howard. Burn the pitcher spot up now, and he goes down with the strikeouts. 5-5 is a double play or a strikeout. So if there's a double play, then you turn the double play. If not, there's a strikeout. That'll look very familiar to anyone who's played on base. That's a very similar mechanic that I put into the game as well. 2 down, and Phil Rizzuto to the plate. There's another double. So back-to-back doubles for Phil Rizzuto in those last 2 at-bats. And a 5-6 is going to be a foul out to Billy Martin, frustrated with himself. And that's going to be no runs on 1 hit for the Yankees. So still 2-1 Yankees over the Dodgers in this 55 World Series, deciding Game 7. And for the Dodgers, it's going to be Furillo, Hodges, and Hoke. 1-3, that's going to be a ground out. We are going to this is the 7th inning, by the way. 1 down and another ground out. That's going to be a 2-6 and 3 ground outs in a row. Puts away the Dodgers. No runs on no hits in the 7th inning as they are trying to stay in this ball game. For the Yankees, in the bottom of the 7th, it'll be McDougal, Berra, and Bauer. That's a 5-6. McDougal fouls out. That's two foul outs in a row. Frustrating for him. 2-4. That's going to be a base knock. And that's Berra's third hit of the game. Second hit of the game, right? So Berra on first, 1 out. 1-2 is going to be a ground out. We'll just call that a fielder's choice. And so we'll play it like that. No double play, but just a fielder's choice. So Bauer is at first with 2 down, and a 1-4. That's going to be a ground out to in the inning. So no runs on 1 hit for the Yankees as they maintain their 2-1 lead. And we're going into the 3, 6, 7, 8th inning. So it's getting down to brass tacks here. 2-2. So a double for Don Zimmer. And a 2-4. That's going to be a base knock from the pitcher spot. So Zimmer will move up a base. And so it's going to be runners at the corners. Nobody out. And it's going to be Gilliam, Reese, and Snyder. So golden opportunity here for the Dodgers. It's a 4-4. 4-4 is a double play or a strikeout. So he's going to come home. They're going to trade the 2 outs for the 1 run. And we're going to go, let's just say 4-6-3. He's going to get an RBI. He's going to be caught on the fielder's choice. So Brooklyn ties up the ball game, but they give up, the Yankees give up 2 outs for that. Here's a triple. So 3-3 is a triple. And that's a triple to Pee Wee Reese. Reese with a single and a triple on the day. And a 4-6 is going to be a K. So Snyder strikes out to end the inning. But Brooklyn does tie the ball game on 1 run on 2 hits. And we have a tie ball game going into the bottom of the 8th inning. So Brooklyn 2, New York 2 in this 1955 World Series game number 7. A 3-5 is going to be a flyout. It's a flyout to Bob Cerv flies out. Elston Howard. 4-6, that's going to be a strikeout. And the pitcher spot is a 3-5, that'll be a flyout. So 1-2-3 go the Yankees in the 8th inning as they can't respond. And we go to the 9th inning. Tied up 2-2, a classic here in 1955 World Series. There's a 3-5, that's going to be a flyout to Roy Campanella, or from Roy Campanella. A 1-1, that'll be a strikeout for Furillo. Furillo 0 for 4 on the day. And another strikeout. So 3 up and 3 down go the Dodgers. No runs on no hits in the ninth inning. And we go to the bottom of the ninth, all tied up. Is there a little magic in New York? A 6-6. It looks to me like there's a lot of magic. So Phil Rizzuto hits the game winner, and that is a World Series winner for the New York Yankees as they down the Brooklyn Dodgers 3-2 in a magnificent Game 7 with a walk-off home run from Phil Rizzuto. Holy cow. So a great game. And this is the game is called Pocket Baseball. The game engine is here. Again, I'll share the link with you in the description below. There are other games. Aruba Baseball is one. I'll just walk you through. Peg Baseball is one. And there's a 1930s homebrew that it starts out with the basic game here. Now the basic game is a game that the people who wrote and did the research, they wrote the article. This was a game that they put together based off of sort of this 1930s homebrew, which was handed to them from their grandfather or their father, and then they sort of updated it for 1960s homebrew, and then eventually landed on this. This is more of a simplified game. They created their own game that's a little bit more advanced, but this is sort of the simplified version of that. Anytime you see a result or another result, like ground out or E-7, so a ground out, you re-roll on these. So here, anytime it says or, so you would re-roll here, you would re-roll here, both D6s. And then if it's a 1 to a 6, it's a ground out. If it's a 7 to 12, then it's an error. Same thing here. 1 to 8 is a single. Anything above 9 is a triple. So even trying to sort of manipulate the results there. But this 60s homebrew is sort of the precursor to this basic dice game. There's one from New Jersey called the New Jersey Dice Game. You can see there's a couple of different things. If there's a sacrifice fly, if there's a runner on third, and you hit a 4-6. There's a Pennsylvania game, which is a little bit more simple. And then Pocket Baseball, which I just showed you there. But the game starts out with the basic dice baseball, which has balls and strikes, by the way. So there are a couple of these games. This 1930s and 60s homebrew also have balls and strikes. So that adds a little different dimension to it. Sometimes you get strikeouts or walks just off of those balls and strikes, just the way that everything falls. And this one does include an automatic stolen base on there as well. So a couple of different elements that can be added to each of the different games. And each one has its own sort of flavor. And sometimes, here you get pop outs quite a bit. Some people put the home run here, people put it here, some people put it here. Everybody's putting their home runs and things like that in different spots. So it's kind of fun to play each game and see how it plays out. But this one played really well. 3-2 win. New York over Brooklyn, and they actually turned the tide of history and win the 55 World Series, where they lost it. I believe that game was 2-0. They had lost to New York, lost to Brooklyn. So this is dice baseball. This is where it sort of all started. And maybe I'll do a little bit more. I'll do one where I'm rolling dice too, which should be kind of fun. But you can use this as a reference. You can use the entire application by itself just to play in your spare time. You don't need necessarily, if you don't want to keep score, you can just sort of keep score in the game interface. And everything can be touched and sort of toggled on and off. So you can keep track of base runners, outs. And when you get to 3 outs, then it all goes away. Down here, you can sort of toggle between these to make sure you know which team is batting. And then if you have the home team and you just go to inning number 2, it automatically switches it over to the visitor and clears the bases. So it sort of gets you set up for another inning. So this is just a little something I wanted to create to kind of connect everyone to the past, the real past, not just the 60s, but beyond that, into the teens and 20s and 30s, before APBA, before Strat, before all these sort of larger commercial games. There were some smaller commercial games. So, okay, I think that's it. If you have any questions or comments, just put them down in the comment section below and I'll get to them as quickly as I can. I appreciate the community supporting both the channel and On Base Baseball itself and the different games that we produced. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, click subscribe. And then when you subscribe, you can click the bell notification, and that will actually send you an update whenever I post new videos. That way you don't have to sort of go back and say, have there been any new videos here, or waiting for me to post those on social media. So you'll just get those directly to your email or to the YouTube app. Okay, I think that's it. Have a great weekend. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.